I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with author Linda Arena about her amazing book. She's taking readers on a thrilling adventure in her novel, The 13th Order, Guardians of the Crystal Skulls. As Earth faces devastation from a massive, massive earthquake that has shifted its axis by more than 3 degrees, the only hope for humanity lies within the beings residing in Mount Shasta. The author weaves a gripping tale that combines cataclysmic events, ancient legends, and a race against time to save the world. We are delighted to have Linda in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel. And we thank the team at Authors Tranquility Press for helping us put Linda in the spotlight today. Linda, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Logan. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is all mine. You've got quite an imagination because
it gets worse. You really don't want to walk through my mind.
This is quite a book you've created. Tell me, how did you come up with taking a real life disaster and then novelizing it all?
I didn't really do it, I don't think.
Okay.
What happened was that the Michael Hedges crystal skull was coming to the Pasadena Natural Museum of History. Big article in the paper about it. So my friend, Reverend Mary, she said, Linda, there's a big article. Come over and I'll read it to you because I can't read. So I go over and she reads me this article. And I went, oh, wow. And she says, well, isn't it nice that there's mystery still left in the world? And I said, well, I just finished. I have a little wizard that sits on my computer that reads to me. And I said, I just discovered the mystery of Mount Shasta. I said, do you know it? She said, no, I've never heard of it. I said, okay, let's go to your office. I told her what to put in, and she's reading it to me. Now, at this point in time, it's right on the back end of Katrina. Katrina had just happened like 3 days before, and there's devastation everywhere. And I'm sitting behind her, and this story starts in my head. It's about the aliens can't come out of the mountain. They have to put the axis shift back so all these catastrophes don't happen, but they can't come out and say the sky's falling. So they enlist the aid of Rachel Madison, who is a recluse farmer, and she has no clue about the outside world. She doesn't know nothing about it. But she's the only one who has ever seen them, because she's right there. She's seen them walking. And so they ask her to help. And that starts the adventure. And that's how it happened. But it kept swirling in my head that I had no choice to write it. So I asked my son, who is an IT guru, how can I write this story? Obviously I can't sleep or eat, so please tell me how I can do this. So he set up the little wizard for me and do text to speech. I can type, but I can't read what I write. But the little wizard would find the mistakes. I could find the mistake and correct it. I just couldn't read the paragraph. So
Are you visually impaired? Is that what the issue is?
Yeah, I had a stroke, and it took away my words. They turn into like hieroglyphs for me after a short period of time. So I can have a sentence or two maybe, but then after that, it's a disaster. So Mary helped me edit it, and the day, and this is no joke, Logan, the day I typed the end on that book, which took me 5 years, George Lucas came out with The Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
Wow.
And I said, oh, no, no, not now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
not now. So anyway, that's what it was.
Are his crystal skulls similar to your crystal skulls?
They are a natural, not a natural. They have been dug up all over the world, Belize and I forget, New Mexico. People have dug them up. They're an actual artifact, so I think they should be put back. because I think they're part of the electronic, like we have the, what's that called over us? Never
Oh, the
mind.
satellites?
No, the energy above us.
Okay. Well, we'll just say the energy above us.
Okay. And then we have the one below us, and that's the crystal skulls. That creates the balance between Earth,
Okay.
and above us. I'll think of it in a minute, I promise.
Gotcha. Oh, no worries. I can't think of it. Otherwise, I'd help you out there. But so have you always enjoyed writing, or reading or watching fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, before I lost my vision, yeah. I huge mystics and science and paranormal and all of the space stuff I could get my hands on. Yeah, very big into all of that.
How would you explain the crystal skulls? Where do you think they came from? What do you think the origin is?
Oh, you really want to go down that rabbit hole, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I believe they were created by our ancestors, the gods. The mythology to me seems to be more true to our history than anything else. So I think they were created by them to be planted around the earth to keep the balance. We cannot, in this day and age, create them the way they were made, the ones that were dug up. We can't duplicate that. So that's what I think. They're extraterrestrial made.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you think the Earth has shifted on its axis from earthquakes in the past?
It did. And it actually did 3.19 degrees. That's what caused Katrina, New Zealand. The earthquakes, volcanoes have been erupting all over the place. And that was due to that Indonesian earthquake. And then Japan backed it up with a 9.0 a couple years later. So we're having catastrophes because the Earth's axis is shifting. Now, if I'd had some real guardians, and real people to figure out how to do it, that it needs to go back. Our axis really does need to be shifted back. So the surface settles down. Right now it's in motion, a lot of motion.
Maybe that's why you're getting such bad weather in California.
Probably because we've never had rain, as much rain. We've just never had it.
Yeah.
We're a pretty dry state.
Right.
We get a few storms now and then, but not like this. Yeah. We've had rain every week.
We get very arrogant. We think we know a lot. We think everything can be explained, but there's a lot of unexplained phenomenon out there. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Take the pyramids, take something obvious. Yeah. And the Sphinx and Stonehenge and Easter Island. I mean, I could go on forever with that. Yeah. We can't duplicate it. We can't haul it like they did in ancient times. So the only thing left is levitation. It's the only way that could have been created. All of it. To put 10-ton stones. I don't care how many men you put on a wood cart. There's no way that you can possibly do that humanly, Right. So to me, it's levitation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting because there is so much unexplained phenomenon. And I think because now everybody's equipped with a camera, that eventually we're going to capture more and more of UFOs, extraterrestrials. I'm assuming you believe in most of that stuff or all of that stuff. I believe in
all of it. All of it. Yeah. There's too much evidence to just say, oh, well, that was a one-time thing. No, we've got a lot of evidence. We have many pictures of flying saucers around the Earth. We have caught on camera for one. They catch all the stuff, that's on the ground and that don't look like a human to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot we really don't know, and we're going to learn. I think it's going to come to fruition, you know.
Well, it's good because it fuels a writer's imagination for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can go hog wild with all of it, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the characters in your book. Are any of them based on real life people?
Oh boy. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Lane Connors, who is the bodyguard, I based him on The Rock. When I was writing it, I need something large, somebody large with muscles that would be a bodyguard. And he was the only one I can think of. Because when you write, you picture
Yeah.
somebody in that role, you know, and he was the only one I could think of that would fit that. Rachel was me in my youth, I think. And I'm pretty scrappy. Not anymore, but I was.
I bet you still are.
Yeah, and my mother was a pistol, so I
That's
think
right.
Sarah would be Sarah, you know. So yeah,
So you've obviously envisioned this as a movie or a TV series, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and it is. It's going to be a movie.
Really? Have you?
Yes,
Okay, tell me about that.
Netflix has picked it up. We're almost to casting. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this out loud, but it's almost to casting, and the screenplay is finished, and so yeah.
Wonderful. That's very exciting. That's going to be amazing to see this world brought to life, don't you think?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
And did you read the book actually?
I did. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness, you're the
Yeah.
only one
Really?
that that I've been interviewed by that's actually read the book. And I want to see Rosie fly. I want to see my baby fly, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, they've come a long way since 1978 with Superman flying. So I think you will see Rosie fly, and it'll be very convincing for sure.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love that little spaceship.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Absolutely.
who's your favorite character? Rosie, you know? I love it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for reading it.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. Talk to us about some of the other characters, such as Bilzba and what his purpose
Oh,
is.
he's in the second book.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't even realize. I've only read one. There's more than one book?
Okay, well, Bilzba is in the 13th Order, Dawn of Creation, the planet of creation.
Okay.
Now, he is a guardian creature that has gone to help the Earth people save the Guardians. Now, see, the story has flipped. The Guardians saved the Earth people. Well, now the Guardians are in trouble, and they have to go to the planet Darius to help save them. They're the only ones who can, according to Midas. Midas says they're the only one with ingenuity that can actually save us. And Bilzba is their guide.
Wonderful. How many books are there? Are there
Three.
only three? Okay. So
Yeah,
let's
then
go
there's
through them. The first one is,
Guardians of the Crystal Skulls.
right.
The next one is Darius, the planet of creation. And the
Okay.
last one is Dawn, Dawn.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And are you planning any more installments?
No, those three are it. Those guys took me 10 years to write. Even though they still live in my head every so often, you know, they come out and talk to me, but nothing enough to write another book over,
Right.
you know. So, yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, it's
they
sometimes
do take
nice
up
to have
residence.
finality and a conclusion rather than something that seems like it's going to be going on forever.
No,
And
no,
like
no,
you said,
no,
10
no, no.
years is a long time to live in a different world and with all these different characters.
Well, you do live there.
You do.
The world around me really does not exist when
Yeah.
you're in that situation. You know, they just talk and they won't shut up. So you got to sit there and you got to keep writing because, you know, you just got to do it or they drive you nuts, you know, if
Right.
you don't get down what they will have to say, you know. So I kind of think of this as it was inspired. You know, since I can't read, it was inspired, you know.
Absolutely.
Nothing else would make me go through all I went through to get them written, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you know, sometimes like You know, I do a lot of talk to text too. I actually had a retinal detachment, so my vision's not great either. So I feel your pain when it comes to,
Yeah,
relying on technology sometimes to dictate, but thank God it's there, right?
yeah,
It's
right.
it's very, very helpful. But I find that when I do talk to text, writing like I speak, and that's
Right.
pretty important and that's pretty powerful. Don't you think that in some
Oh,
ways it's a
absolutely.
blessing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I don't know what I would do without the little dictation guy now,
Yeah.
the current one, and then I have read aloud, which reads
Mhm.
it to me, I mean, I can't ask for any better than that,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
extremely helpful.
Yeah, we're blessed to live in this age. Tell
Hmm.
us the 13th order. Tell us the significance of the number 13.
Okay, the number 13. Well, according to geologists,
Hmm.
Earth has transformed itself 12 times. We are in the 12th order of the Earth. The 13th order, they feel, is coming up soon, and we need new guardians for that. Guardians live 500 millennium. And so now the 13th order is coming upon us, and they need to create it. And Prometheus is not happy. He wants to be the king to bring in the 13th order. It's like a consciousness thing.
Exactly.
And
Tell,
Prometheus,
tell
go
us how
ahead.
you balance the scientific elements of your story with the fantasy mystical aspects of it.
Oh my God. It, well, to me, it's like second nature. It's
Mm.
to me, it is, I live on a planet that has all of that
Mm.
mystery, all the science that's coming out, and I just it's easy. It's just easy for me. I
Yeah.
have no problems balancing it because it seems to me I live it every day. I guess that would be the correct answer to that.
Who was your first reader? Who did you first have read the book?
Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah was my neighbor across the street, and as I wrote it, I would write a chapter and take it over to her. She would yay or nay it, and she just loved it. So I kept going. As long as she loved it, I kept going. She has passed. I'm so sorry to say because she was just one other person that understood how I thought, you know.
Yeah.
I lose
Yeah.
the good ones, it seems sometimes.
Yeah. That's
Reverend
hard.
Mary has passed, Sarah has passed, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you
Part of
working
life.
on any other books right now?
Yes, I am.
Tell me about
We're
that.
totally off the subject.
Okay.
I have a FBI agent who goes to his cabin every year to hunt and fish.
Hmm.
So he goes this year, and on one of his little expeditions through the woods, he comes across a old barn that's about to fall down, but he hears people talking. So he goes in and peeks in. Of course, he's an FBI. He's curious, and he sees these guys in the barn cooking meth. So he just scurries away. He thinks that he's not been seen. They didn't see him, but one of them did. And so they go that night and they attack him in his cabin. Unbeknownst to them, there is a grizzly bear named Paisley who's curled up in the corner on the porch. Now, she's an ex circus bear, and she broke out when her owner died, and she was starving, and she went to the river and catch. That's the nickname is Catch, and he would throw her fish. So he started feeding her, and she has always come. When she sees the smoke, she comes and catching her fish. Well, she was curled up in the corner. And when they came and attacked him, she attacked them and grabbed Catch and drug him off to a cave. Now everybody's looking, trying to find him because his partner came to the cabin expecting to have hot coffee, be able to sit and relax on the porch, and she finds a bloodbath. So, and it's almost finished, so I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Yeah, don't want to give away the ending. Excellent, excellent. Sounds like a very compelling story. Looking forward to that as well. What
Oh,
movies inspire you?
ah, Avatar,
Mhm.
Star Wars. Those are the only two I can think of
Yeah.
off the top of my
So you're
head.
more Star Wars than Star Trek.
Well, but I kind of liked them too. But you said movies.
That's
Well,
true.
they
That's
did.
true.
They
They do
did
have Star
make.
Trek movies too, but
Yeah,
it
there was
does
about
feel
three
like
of
a
them or
TV
so.
series or an extension of it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But as far as movie goes, yeah, Avatar and Star Wars would have to be my pick
Yeah.
for those.
Tell me
What are
about
your favorites? What are
one of
your
my
favorites?
favorites. Well, when it comes to science fiction, I love some of the old stuff like Planet of the Apes and Soylent Green. I'm a
Oh
huge
my God!
Charlton.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Soylent Green is
Yeah.
people.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I actually interviewed Charlton Heston's son, Fraser Heston, and I did my Charlton Heston impression for him. I was like, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape." So
Oh, there you
he
go.
liked
There
it.
you
He
go.
was impressed. It was fun.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
that's cool.
It
That
was
is
cool.
cool.
Tell me
Yeah.
about what you hope readers will get from your series of books.
I want them to be aware of their surroundings. I want them to open their imagination. I want them to think bigger than what people just walk through their lives. But I want them to think bigger, just bigger. Basically, that's it,
Yeah. Keep
Because
their minds open, keep their imaginations open, and
yeah,
keep their, yeah, absolutely.
look for stuff. Mount Shasta is a real entity, and the legend of Mount Shasta is the Guardians, and they've been around for millenniums. This is not fantasy when it comes to that part. They are, in my eyes, and hundreds of people who have seen them and witnessed them, they're real.
Yeah.
They are a real entity. And they can do all kinds of cool stuff. Well, you read my book, they
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
more. You'll see.
Exactly. Exactly. There's more books to come. The two more for me anyway, and for the readers at home, I'm sure as well. Do you listen to Coast Radio at night? Do you ever listen to that show?
I've heard of it, and I submitted the book to him, but he never responded. I've sent him a book, and he never responded to it. So
Because
that's
this sounds
okay.
really like up his alley because they talk a
Yeah,
lot about unexplained phenomenon.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Very true.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. Tell me what your family makes of this vivid imagination that you have.
Not one family member has read my book.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Shame on you.
Well, I
On
have
them, I
tried.
mean, of course.
I've tried, but I've got the covers all up on my walls. They hear me talk about it, but
Yeah,
not interested.
right. Well,
And that's okay. They don't have to be.
right, right.
This is for me. This is for my pleasure, not
E-
theirs.
Exactly. And lots of
Yeah,
readers' pleasure as well, and soon lots of viewers' pleasure as well.
I hope
Hopefully
so.
that Netflix situation works out well.
Yeah,
And so who, if you were to cast it right now using your magic wand, obviously we've already cast The Rock. And who else
John
would you
Boyd
cast?
as Stephen Kotz. I would
Okay.
like Helen Hunt to play Rachel.
Mhm.
Um, the Guardians are just voices at this point. I mean, that would be special effects for them.
Yeah.
Greeley, I think Danny DeVito would play a great Greeley.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, it would be perfect. Or Jonathan Forsythe. That's as far as I've really
Well, that's
gotten.
pretty good. That's a pretty good.
Yeah,
That's an A-lister cast you've got put together there, and it's very an interesting dichotomy of people. Everyone from Helen Hunt to Danny DeVito. I love it. I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah. Well, Darius is out now. You can get it, and it's now in audio.
Wonderful.
Both the first and second book are now in audio.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you're a busy lady between.
I am.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be 77. I don't mind telling everybody how old I'm gonna be
Wow.
next week. So,
well, happy birthday in advance.
Well,
you certainly don't look or act 77, so it's good that you're keeping active. It's keeping you young, and you have the imagination of a I'm gonna say very young, like 14-year-old, because that's when.
Oh yeah, wow.
That's before people have had their imagination beaten out of them by school. You know, they're still dreaming and writing good things.
I was left alone. My mother worked a lot, so I was left alone. And so my imagination ran rampant. I had to babysit my brother. So yeah, my imagination had all kinds of room to run.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And I love it.
Great. Well, I'm glad you're staying productive. The name of the book we're talking about today is The 13th Order, Guardians of the Crystal Skulls. It is a fantastic book that is rooted in reality, has elements of mysticism and fantasy and real life events. Linda has created an amazing world that you will want to live in through book 1, book 2, book 3. And you might want to twist her arm a little bit. Maybe you'll get a book 4 out of her. That would be great. Linda, thank you. What's that?
I've just, thank you. That's all. I've just saying thank you.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.